Okay guys, well here we are a week later after doing the tunnel. As you can see, looks pretty good, pretty neat. Factory, that's what that is, factory. Look, it even has a Mopar sticker, so it's definitely factory. So now we've got to turn our attention to the flywheel. So here's the flywheel over there, new bolts, new pilot bearing. I have to put a pilot bearing in there, which is this here. Yes, it's supposed to be a special puller. Never taken a pilot bearing out before. I don't think it's too complicated. There's a brass bushing there, and then I think the pieces of metal, there's no change between the crankshaft and that brass bushing. This is all one piece. Now the bearing I have looks like it fits right in that hole, so I'm assuming we've got to take that brass bushing out. Get some more light on the subject. But bottom line is, what we're going to do is take the bushing out, clean up this face so that there's no rust or anything that's going to make the flywheel sit unevenly, and we'll bolt that on. And then we've got to bolt the bell housing on, then mount the dial gauge to the flywheel and spin the engine. This is where I really need a helper, but I haven't got one, so it's going to be a little awkward. But we've got to spin the engine to check the run out. Essentially we've got to make sure that the crankshaft is perfectly aligned with the hole in the bell housing, which in turn will then be perfectly aligned with the input shaft of the transmission. If you don't get that right, you can cause damage to the bearings in the pilot bearing, you can cause damage to the bearings in the transmission, you can cause it to not shift nicely because you're preloading everything with a side load through the transmission. So the way you adjust it is by changing out these dowels. There's two dowels on the back of the engine, that one there and that one there, and you end up with offset dowels, which could bring us to a screeching halt, because I don't know if I need offset dowels yet. Chances are I will, and I got to order those from the US of A, from SST, or from any, well, maybe somewhere else, I'm not sure, but I've got to order them anyway. I don't have them, so yeah, so clean up the end of the crankshaft, get that pilot bearing out. I'm going to look at the instructions and see if what I need to remove from there, but it definitely looks like it's just all I can get out of there is the that brass bushing. There's nothing else there, because this piece here, this face here, is part of the crank, so I can't take that out obviously, but we shall see. Okay. There it is. No damage, everything's good in there. These things used to be called wire wheels. Now they're called Cheek Poker 9000s, thanks to Derek at Vice Grip Garage. Engage, safety squints. Too big, not enough horsepower. Good enough. Good enough. Right. So, according to the instructions, the piece of the part of the bearing, the needle bearing that you can see, faces the transmission. i.e. it goes in the crankshaft this way. I have marked it so I do not forget. And go gently, gently, tappy, tappy. Got to be the outer part, or the bronze piece has to be level with the lip of the crankshaft. Not a perfect fit, this socket. More. Having never done this before, this sort of thing before, I'm not sure how accurate I need to be, so I'm just doing my best to make sure it's as per the instructions. That feels perfect. Okay, good. There's the bearing in place.
So these are supposed to be 55 foot-pounds with a little bit of the never come off juice. Permanent strength. Permanent strength to keep the lid jammed shut. This stuff is surprisingly expensive. Little dab will do ya. It's a lot easier with that transmission attached to it. Ah, damn starter motor. It's the bane of my life. The starter motor. Okay, so as before, on the engine, I went round the mating surface on the bell housing, cleaned it up with a bit of 320, just to remove any burrs or anything that was going to throw the alignment off. It's pretty good, but you know, when all's said and done, I haven't done this before. I want to make sure that if there's a problem, I kind of have a good idea what the issue is, rather than second guessing, you know, something I haven't done right. If that makes any sense. So the bell housing's now attached. One at the top, two at the bottom. It's nice and flush all the way around, as far as I can tell and see. Starter motor's not fouling the bell housing, and it all went on lovely. No worries about trying to angle bolts or anything. It's all good. Okay. Like that. Really would help if I could see what I was doing. Now this guy bolts onto that. Something like that. Hey guys, welcome back. So this is where we left off last time. Got the flywheel on. You can see it in there. Everything's torqued up. The bell housing's in place, and I've used the dial indicator to get my measurements. I've got an email into SST right now, double checking that I need what I need, and hopefully they'll get some offset dowel pins in the post. Probably hear back from them tomorrow. Today's Sunday, so there's not much else I can do here right now. I don't want to put the clutch on yet because I may still need to attach the dial indicator. So I think what I'm going to investigate now is clutch, master cylinder and pedal box. This is where we're at. So the underside of the floor's done. I still need to seal around this weld here. It's watertight already and it's all looking pretty good, but I'll seal it anyway because it kind of just makes it a better job. And I still have to, I think, weld a bracket on here because there's a bracket here that the center console screws to, and there's nothing here. Now the mechanism that used to be there for the automatic transmission had a bracket on it or around it or near it, if I remember, that I had to wiggle off. So I think that's on one of the first videos. So it was welded there, so that has to be replaced somehow. But I also have to buy a different bezel for the console because now the transmission shifter is in a slightly different position. And I just checked that out online. That's not cheap, but at least I can get it. National Moparts in Ontario here. Kind of lucky, kind of fluky. When I bought this car, I always wanted to get an old Mopar, but there happens to be one of the best suppliers in the whole of Canada, an hour's drive from here, so it's kind of handy for everything like used parts and new parts. So pretty lucky on that front. But anyway, we've got to get up under here and start thinking about clutch. Okay, according to the instructions, that rubber plug there is where we're going to mount the clutch master cylinder, which is that guy there. So I have a wire going through it. I think the simplest thing to do is just cut that wire, push the other side through, find another way to route this through the firewall, and then reconnect the wires on the other side, so that's not too much of an issue. And then we have to mount, so there's the instructions there, the diagram there. We have to mount, drill three holes for the slave cylinder, sorry, master cylinder. And then just poke that through. Yeah, it's not too complicated. Okay, so that's going to be in the engine bay. This is going to be this side. Okay, that's the brake pedal released. Take that out of there so we don't lose it. Okay, brake pedal is out. That was a pain in the arse. So now we'll have a look at the instructions again. Remove vent from under the dash. Disconnect brake master cylinder push rod from brake pedal. Check. Retain fasteners. Fasteners retained. Remove pivot pin and nut from right hand side of pedal housing. Done. Holding brake pedal, pull pivot pin out. Yeah, okay, get that. Remove brake pedal, right. Okay. Install new clutch pedal stop to pedal housing. What's the clutch pedal stop? Install new clutch pedal stop to pedal housing. here are the new pedals. So that's
okay, let's get you guys in here. Okay, there's the clutch pedal, there's the brake pedal, they're in place. There's a rod that goes right through from this side to a nut at the back here. This support bracket has to slip over here, bolt through the existing frame or whatever you want to call it, pedal box, steering column support. So there's a bolt that's got to go through that hole there, and then I've got to drill 2 holes in the firewall and bolt through at the back, and that will give the whole pedal box and everything a certain level of extra support. There does appear to be 2 dimples there already. Look, you can see them. 1, 2 factory dimples. So next question is, can I get a drill in here? But at least I know that those factory dimples line up. Of course, can't get. Yeah, and there is a nut on the back of there. Question is, does this? Yeah, this will all have to stay in place. I think this will be all right. Cable tight. Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's drill those dimples.
okay. You can see it down there. Right there. Let's go and have a look at what damage I've done on the other side. You can see the 2 holes are drilled there. Let's see what carnage I've caused in the engine bay. No, none. Good. Okay, pedal box back in. Bit of grease around those bolt holes. Done. Okay, let's get you in under here. So, this is under the dash, as you can tell. There's the clutch pedal. You're upside down, the same as me right now. There's the brake pedal all hooked up. And there, this piece here is the bracket. 2 bolts through the firewall that already had dimples, and 1 bolt through this bracket here. So that's solid as a rock. Everything's really good. It fits lovely. I've got to reroute some wiring. I think there's a new speedo cable for this setup. That's what this guy is here. It's not fouling. The pedal's going to sit around there, and it's going to be pushed down all the time. It's not coming up to hit anything. So I think it might be okay, but I've got to move some wiring around because I had wiring coming across where the clutch pedal is now. I had to cut it. I had to cut that. But yeah, so. Okay, so we have clutch pedal done and dusted, brackets installed, hydraulic master cylinder for the clutch installed,